Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you're listening around the world. This is Sedona Talk Radio. Welcome to the Promote with Patty Show. This is the show where you will hear the inside scoop on great books, events, products, and services as they are discussed, dissected, and promoted to the world. And now, here's Patty.
And you're now listening to the Promote with Patty Show. Welcome. And today I've got author Kenneth N. Gould with me. Kenneth has written a very intriguing and true account about some of the members of his family, including the very prominent character Grannie Alice. And this is the character that the book is actually focused on. The intrigue comes with the twists and turns that tie in the author's proof of reincarnation. You're going to find the book to be a true page-turner with the surprising turn of events that I believe are going to cause most everyone to look at their own family and history with a new set of eyes, a new set of questions, as well as some new understanding. The book itself is called Time and Time Again, My Family and Reincarnation. The publisher is Healings of Atlantis, and they're based in England. And now I'd like to welcome the author, Kenneth N. Gould, to the show. Welcome, Kenneth.
Well, hello, Patty. I couldn't have described it better if I had written that myself. You really do know the book, and I'm so pleased for this opportunity. I was going to say good evening, because that's what it is here. But anyway, good morning. I understand it's about 12 noon your time. Anyway, it's wonderful to speak to you.
Oh, same here, Kenneth. I've really been looking forward to this ever since we discussed the possibility. So this is really, really great. I'm super excited to talk with you about this book. I myself have interest in reincarnation and the paranormal. But, what's really happening really globally is an increased awareness and an increased interest in what happens after we leave this planet.
Absolutely. I mean, at one time I think that this was only a belief in, shall we say, some of the Asian religions, but I think now in the Western world people are beginning to realize that there's certainly something in life after death, spirits speaking to us. If I've managed in my book also to prove, I have to myself anyway, and I hope that by the end of the book people will, they'll make up their own minds, but if they come to the same conclusion, I think that there's going to be an awful lot of people in both your side of the Atlantic and mine, the Western world, shall we call us, who believe in it, in reincarnation, that is.
Absolutely, absolutely. More and more in my travels and
yes.
The work that I do and stuff, it's really kind of it's a growing, I use the word phenomenon, but it's not a phenomenon. It's a natural occurrence. We're just now as human beings, I think, starting to learn to understand that this is a natural occurrence. But I wanted to let you, if there's anything else that you wanted to mention here before, because one of the things that I wanted to do, actually, Kenneth, if it's okay with you, got a list of questions. I think it's really important. There's a lot of information in the book, and to try to help the listeners understand, and then also, build the intrigue that the book deserves. I've got a list of questions here. There's actually 10 of them, and I think that they'll sort of lead us through if that works for you.
Well, that's fantastic. I hope that I can answer them. Well, I think I will. I know my book and my subject inside out, but let's see. What's your first question?
Okay, let me start with, when you began writing your book, did you yourself have any preconceived ideas about life after death?
Well, that's amazing, because no, none whatsoever. If you mean, did I have a belief in it, I did have a hope. I hoped that there might be something, but that was limited just to my father, because I was very close to him. And in 1954, Dad died. He was only 56. It was sudden. I was 25. And as I say, I'd always felt so close to him. And I found myself thinking about him pretty much most of the time over the years. And I used to talk to him out loud. I used to show him things that I'd made or written, because we both shared, may I say it, abilities, hobbies. And I was showing him things, asking for his approval. Sort of, what do you think of this, Dad? You know, that sort of thing. Anyway, sometimes I used to invite him to look around my garden and pond, because he was so much in love with his own. I never managed to make a garden and pond as good as his, I know that. But I always felt that he was with me, times like that. I do know, actually, this is strange, I do know, although I only hoped that he was with me, I do really know now that he was with me in the early days, just after he died. But I didn't find that out all through 1984. That was 30 years afterwards. Can I give you an example? The main medium upon whom I've relied throughout this book, because I can't hear or see spirits myself, she's quite famous in England, a lady called Evelyn Payne. She had so fallen, I don't know if that's the right word, for my family, but once I introduced them to her, or she introduced them to me, that she became able to converse with them, that is my father, uncle, and of course the Grannie Alice you mentioned, even when I wasn't with her. And she could send me tape recordings of conversations she had with them. I find that absolutely amazing. But anyway, on one of them, she didn't know I'd injured my ankle. Now this is one of the most amazing revelations on this particular tape. And she said, "Watch that ankle," your father is saying to me. "You, Ken, when you were playing soccer, did you injure your ankles, or perhaps one ankle very badly? Because I've got the feeling that my ankle is blowing up, sprained, maybe broken. But it's you, of course, not me. Now, I can see you as a very fair-haired young man, boyish, but more than a teenager." Now, what I'd like to add to that, Patty, is that this was 2 years after I had died. I was 27. I had my soccer career cut short by a broken ankle. Wow. So even though I didn't know it at the time, he had obviously been with me in those early days, as I had hoped, and had been watching me. Otherwise, how could he describe this broken ankle to the clairvoyant and described me as a man, boyish but more than a teenager? I was 27. So he wasn't actually referring to the broken ankle or the damaged ankle that I had while Evelyn was sending me the tape. He was actually referring to the broken ankle I had 2 years after he had died. And so I know it's a fantastic thing to think that all those years that I was hoping he might be watching me, he actually was.